What's up, everyone? Alfredo, I'm back. It's been a week. This is gonna be a good one, though. We're focusing on one topic. We're gonna do two things. We're focusing on one topic, right? How do we stop fantasizing about a future that doesn't exist and letting it mess up our present moment, right? And how do we live in that present moment and enjoy it with the friends and family we have now? But before that, we're gonna go to a little shop here. It's a little place that they have Asian goods. We're gonna make some food for the family. We're gonna eat and then we're gonna talk about this, all right? I promise it's gonna be good. At this point, I was so motivated to make the food, but I didn't record most of it. Come on, look at that. But just know I ate really good food, and I'm not sure what to call it. Take a look here. This is like some sort of steak and ramen and egg concoction. But moving forward, it was good. But before I went to my location to film the next clip, I stopped by the church and just walked around the grounds to reflect, right? What brought me back. It's nice to get away sometimes and do one of these little thingies, right? All right, so two things I want to talk about. This is going to be more of a talky video, right? It's the fact that you got to be okay with no. People don't want to face the reality that not everything's going to go their way. And that's fine. That's just a cold but true reality, right? The struggle happens when you don't accept it. That's where the evil comes into play. The real test is, how do you navigate that and still be a good person, right? The way I learned it is to accept it with humility and love. Unfortunately, what I found myself doing is fantasizing about a future that's never gonna be. I'm doing this thing and people take it the wrong way, right? People always are like, oh, you're giving up. Internally, I know what they're saying because I know what it sounds like. But what I'm doing is now I'm living for myself, and not in a reckless way. I'm still saving money. I'm still gathering resources and putting them away for a rainy day, right? But I'm no longer making my suffering worse now for a future that may or may not happen. I'm not sitting here and I'm not closed to the idea. I'm not closing off my heart. And everyone's got their stories. Everyone's got excuses. I understand. But to do this method, to officially be like, hey, this isn't going to happen for me. I'm going to stop thinking and dwelling about this. And what are the fruits? What are the fruits of this discipline? Because it's a strange one. I don't think I've read too many thoughts about this topic necessarily, because there's topics on theology, there's topics on wealth, there's topics on a whole myriad of things, but this topic specifically, being able to take a step back from what your mind wants and your heart wants and putting that trust in God. So you're not going to get it. What is your response going to be? Is it going to be typically everyone's response of, well, I'm not going to get this thing, so I'm going to lash out and I'm going to fight against it? Or is it going to be a disciplined one where you're going to be like, you got to accept the facts, but how do you not turn into a bad person? That's much more difficult to do than to just fantasize about, whatever, what could have been, right? And that's a very difficult topic. That's a very difficult topic to talk about. Those are the difficult, real dilemmas that people are dealing with. That's a real problem. And somebody needs to just say something about it, right? Because everyone's quiet about it. It's funny because we bring up these problems that are perceived to be more important. Like, what are some fake dilemmas? Like, oh, the color of this building or this political ideology is being pushed that I don't necessarily agree with. Those are problems for sure, and they have valid reasons to be brought up. But a real problem that I see that's not getting talked about, and it's difficult to identify things that aren't being said, right? Is the dilemma of people not accepting their situations and fighting against it and becoming worse and becoming victims of situations that they may not have been decided to be in, or the decisions that they've made and now they have to live with. Growing up, I wanted A and B and C to happen, right? And you get that notion, you get that initial idea of A, B, and C is to happen in your life, and then you're a successful person, right? And then maybe D, E, F, right? Those are just extracurriculars. But you'll always get A, B, and C. D, E, F, optional. But if you get it, you're one of the lucky. And I think that notion is just wrong. Because we don't live in a typical society anymore. Think about this, like for thousands of years, hundreds of years, whatever rubric you want to use. Life happened in that ordered way. We live in such an individualistic society and time that now that people aren't getting A, B, and C, D, E, F, and that's where the real problem lies. That's where the real problem lies. And it's fine. You just have to kind of accept the times, right? You can't fight that A, B, and C isn't happening. You can fight, or I guess discipline yourself in your response to A, B, and C not being a thing, you know? And you can insert A, B, and C for whatever it may be in your life, right? But when society or your environment or the way you're nurtured puts these things into you, A, B, and C, and they don't happen, that's really vile. That's really vile. That's where the vile things happen. Not that those things were instilled because they were just passed down, right? But a lot of people fall into depression. A lot of people fall into alcoholism, unfortunately. Just substance abuse in general. Emotional abuse. That's a real thing. And the abuse of the self. That's where the problems happen. So a path or an answer that I propose is identifying that issue, and you can only really identify an issue once you've gone through it, once you've gone through the ringer. Once you've identified it, your answer should be is to accept the reality and cut it off. Just bluntly. So me wanting those things aren't bad necessarily, but it was my response, and nobody taught me. And I think that's really important. That's a really it's kind of a little bit of an advanced topic to kind of just stumble upon yourself, right? Being able to identify that issue by yourself is tough, and it's not. You don't stumble upon the answer before you find the problem. So you have to find the problem, and typically it's through the ages, right? People find problems because they've gone through them and then they have a solve for them. And then when they propagate that answer, people can be like, okay, this was the problem. How do you endure? How do you stay so that you can pass along the answer for the next person who can be like, oh man, you know, I'm going through these things. Life is just really putting me through the ringer. Help. And don't get me wrong, cutting myself off from that fantasizing, I guess, it's been tough. There's comfort in it, even though it is pain. There's comfort in it. I guess that's another thing I'm finding out very quickly, just like actually right now, that this is why you shouldn't judge people who are going through things and people who have afflictions. You shouldn't judge them because you are doing the same thing in your own way. So just watch how you treat people. May God be with you. Like and subscribe, those things too. I know there's only a couple of you watching, and there's probably nobody that's going to watch this far into it, but if you do, I'm going to do St. Augustine on the next video. We're going to go visit St. Augustine. We're going to get out of the town. We're going to get out of the city. We're going to go enjoy life, because that's another thing. You can't forget about life. You have to explore it, and that's what's part of the discipline, right? Is enjoying it now. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.